right, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start out by saying, Kal Halayim La, Alahayinawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, Ma'amaf. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and double honor to my elder as well, Ahar Wannabe Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutation to the 144,000 hopeful elect, pushing this truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Bashem Shai. Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson entitled, Never Stop Doing the Work. Never stop doing the work of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai. Because you had a lot of brothers come in this thing, when I came in this thing, they was dropping videos, going hard, or whatever the case may be. But now you never see them, out down the highways and byways or preaching and pushing forth the gospel, trying to flip the Lord's money. You never see them doing these things. Either they went back into the world or, and just got faint-hearted and left, or they just constantly slack. You'll see them drop videos every couple months or whatever the case may be, And this ain't really a rebuke video or whatever the case may be, because I never know who they teaching behind closed doors, what they doing behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, you still want to do the work of the Lord. You still want to hit those highways and byways, and try to flip the Lord's money as best as possible, and basically try to, not scattering the sheep, because us doing videos, you can see the vibration on the world. Basically, you can see the vibration here on this world, on the earth, that people, brothers and sisters, waking up daily. So we got to keep going hard, because, and on top of that, you got these devils deleting our videos. The other day, I tried to type in GMS Leviathan, because the brother was asking me a question about Leviathan, and I couldn't find out one video. It was all these Edomite videos. You got to scroll for like 5-10 minutes straight just to look for a video of a topic, So that's why we got to constantly go hard and drop these videos and, go out there on the highways and byways and compel a lot of people to come in with the words of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai, man. But I'm going to get this first precept in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse Salaki. Proverbs chapter 16 verses 1 through 3. So I'm starting at verse 1. The preparations of the heart is man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of the man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. So that was the point. We want our thoughts to be established. But, only way your thoughts going to be established if you praying to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai in sincerity and truth. If you ain't doing that, you see what I'm saying? What are you doing? You see what I'm saying? If you're not working for the Lord, if you're not working for the Lord, then all your works are basically going to yourself or Esau. Because you'll work 40, 50 hours a week for Esau. You see what I'm saying? But then you'll be too tired, or whatever the case may be, to do the Lord's work. And then next thing you know, week after week after week, it's the same thing. You done gave all your time to Esau, and and then you spent your free time for yourself, when you need to be giving your free time to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai ultimately. Because ultimately the Lord is the one who guides our footsteps. Let me get that first. Verse 2 again. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. All right, your ways might be, you think your ways are clean in your eyes, but at the end of the day, the Lord weigheth the spirit. He's seen that you didn't work 50 hours, but at the end of the day, in your spirit, you vexed because you wasn't able to do the work of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Ultimately. But, you got some people out there, some brothers out there, they'll work 40, 50 hours a week, and they're not vexed because they didn't, ain't hit the highways and byways in a year, or ain't dropped no videos in however long, or whatever the case may be. I dropped the video every 3 months. You see what I'm saying? Didn't worry about a woman. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. That time, you see what I'm saying? You need to take your time. You need to give the Lord the first fruits of all things. That could be your time. You got 2-3 days off. You need to be dropping videos in the days. You got brothers. The Lord will bless you with something, and then next thing you just fall out the truth, or the Lord will bless you with this and that, just to see if you gonna keep going or remain diligent in your works, man. So in all things, you want to remain diligent in your work. So ultimately you won't be beaten with many strikes when it comes down to it. But I'm going to get verse 3 again. Commit thy works unto the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, and thy thoughts shall be established. Right? You want to commit our works before the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, and our thoughts will be established. And dang, I was reading something that line up with that. I think it was in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44. I'm not going to try to look for it, but basically to that effect, man. Well, probably was the last. I don't know. Let me get the next precept, though. Let me get the next precept. Matter of fact, Slocky, I'm going to try to look for that one. So bear with me. Bear with me one moment. Try to find that because I just literally read it last night. It was so good, man. I had to read it 2-3 times just to get a full understanding of it. But it was basically on about basically you gotta commit your works before the Lord, and your thoughts shall be established. Oh, okay. I found it. I found that. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 51, the last chapter. And when I was reading it last night, I had to read it like 3-4 times because I was like, dang, I ain't really understand it, but let me just read it. All right, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 51. I'm starting at verse. I'm starting at verse 28. Get learning with a great sum of money and get much gold by her. Let your soul rejoice in his mercy and be not ashamed of his praise, right? You can't be ashamed of the Lord's praise, man. You got to go out there on the highways and byways, whether they call us bum black Hebrew Israelites, or they call us poor. They say we ain't got no jobs because we out there teaching. Ultimately, you know, that's our main job. You know, brothers got, you know, jobs where we make a lot of money or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, our main job is teaching the, you know, God and the Lord's sheep, and teaching the Lord's sheep ultimately, you know, because that's how we get protection in the time of trouble that's coming. You know, 2/3 of our people, they ain't worried about that. They worried about a carnal dollar, whatever the case may be, when a dollar ain't even real money. It's fiat currency. You see what I'm saying? But it says, let your soul rejoice in his mercy and be not ashamed of his praise. Work your work betimes, and in his time, he will give you your reward. So, right, you got to work your work, man. Whether that be, you know, we go to work and we work carnally, you know, to get our daily bread. You see what I'm saying? We get our daily bread ultimately so we can pay our bills or whatever the case may be. But the main work is the work of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Whether you're on the highways and byways, where you drop these lessons on YouTube, where you drop lessons on whatever your preferred platform that you drop your lessons on, you doing it to search out the Lord's sheep, to, you know, to fish. You know, that, and that's why we get out here and do these lessons, man, because we're trying to basically fish and gather the Lord's elect through his spirit. But it says, one more time, it says, let your soul rejoice in his mercy and be not ashamed of his praise. Work your work betimes, and in his time he will give you your reward. So right, we working hard for that crown. That's the ultimate reward. We want. It says in 2nd Ezra chapter 2 that the Lord Yahweh Shah set crowns on our heads, man. And Revelations 14, I believe, as well. But the Lord set crowns on our head, and that's the ultimate reward that we waiting on. You know, we want the kingdom to be established on earth as it is in heaven, man. We want Yahweh Shah to reign, basically. You know, that's why we do this work. You know, people think that we bums, think that we don't have jobs, think that we don't make money, but ultimately we don't even care about those things. You see what I'm saying? We're not out here trying to be extra flashy or whatever the case may be, or trying to, because that thing don't do nothing but attract things that's going to pull you away from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. If you're out here trying to be the cleanest, it's going to attract women that's going to pull you away from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, whatever the case may be, man. You know, we sticking close to our first love. You know, whether he bless us, will you get a blessing, remain diligent, you know, in the blessing. You know, if the Lord was basically to give you something, still, you know, that's when you want to even go harder. You see what I'm saying? Because that could very much well be a test to see if you're going to fall out of the truth or whatever the case may be, or he didn't got something carnal and now he ready to basically turn his back on the Lord. You know, that's why the Lord basically can't give us nothing. He didn't give us corn, wine, everything, gave us the whole earth. And what niggas do? Fall into idolatry. Now look at us. We in America. Got sold into slavery, you know, because when the Lord did give us the whole world, we didn't know how to handle it. You see what I'm saying? We couldn't handle it. We couldn't handle what the Lord gave us. Now we here, man. But this is the book of St. Luke, chapter 12, starting at verse 47. And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. And right, so you're gonna be somewhere in the, the days are being shortened. Stop doing the work, and now all hell break loose. You know what I'm saying? It came on you like a thief in the night. You finna go out and do some folly or whatever the case may be. And next thing you know, the Lord done had some damn FEMA troops snatch you up and throw you head first into a concentration camp. You see what I'm saying? So what you gonna do then? You see what I'm saying? Now you head first in a concentration camp, and the Lord gonna either deliver you from it or he gonna make you die there. You see what I'm saying? The first thing I do if the Lord was to snatch me up and throw me into a concentration camp, they're gonna have to put me in solitary confinement because I'm a prophesying there. You see what I'm saying? I'm a prophesying there to the fact that they're gonna say we're gonna have to separate this nigga and put him by himself. Whole time I'm just trying to get my work in, man. I'm just trying to get my work in when it comes down to it, because ultimately the Lord put me there for a reason, man. And that's the spirit that we want to be in, always ready to give an answer, always ready to teach, when it's time, always ready to correct when it's time, or always ready to rebuke when it's time, and make sure that we, guide the Lord's sheep in the right direction. Because if we ain't doing that, what you really doing? You know what I'm saying? You wasting your life. You know what I'm saying? You wasting time, basically. And like the scripture says, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of the fool is in the house of mirth. And I was explaining like, dang, like we rarely have fun. It's really not no fun, because when we work, then we come home, we deal with our families, and then we gotta do the Lord's work. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't really no time for fun. But in the kingdom, when the Lord established his kingdom on earth as it is in heaven, it's always gonna be time for fun ultimately. So, but yeah, man, that servant which knew the Lord's will be beaten with many stripes. You're gonna be somewhere going through it. The Lord gonna snatch you up, have you somewhere to where whatever devil that he set forth over you, they're gonna have that spirit on to where they just want to torture you and take you through it. But the next man, he probably running and got his head blew off, and now he in the spirit realm, but you just down here getting tortured, and just going through it for days at a time, man. And it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. It's easy to read these things, but when it's time to actually go through these things, it's even scarier, because at the end of the day, we got to deal with the Lord of Sabaoth, man. So that's why we get out here and do this work, man. You can call us bums, you can say this and that, the whole time you the true bum. You see what I'm saying? You got the richest man on the earth, the richest men of our nation. They want to be us ultimately, but they scared to speak. Us, we in this low state, but we can say whatever we want to say. You see what I'm saying? We can say whatever shit. Amalek is so-called Jewish man. The fuck you gonna do about it? You see what I'm saying? Your ass going into slavery. We can say whatever we want to say. RFID microchip is the mark of the beast. You see what I'm saying? They can't say it. What's gonna happen if they say it? They ass going somewhere, they gonna do whatever they want to do to them behind closed doors, because they bow the knee to Baal. You see what I'm saying? But us, we can hang. I ain't gonna say that. But Matthew chapter 9 and verse 35. Matthew chapter 9, verse 35. And Yahushua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd, man. That's how our people is today, man. They sheep having no shepherds. It's plenty of brothers, when they hear this word, they was out here doing all type of wickedness. But when they finally hear this word, man, they just trim their lamps, and they start searching through the scriptures, or searching through the net, trying to basically seek out the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua in sincerity and truth. And you got some niggas, when they hear it, they just cast it behind them. They don't want to hear it at all. But basically, our people are sheep having no shepherds. Some of them want a shepherd, but don't know where to look. That's what we come in and teach. And most of them just don't care. They shepherds are these damn rappers and these celebrities. That's who they look up to, ultimately. Let's see, what was I at? Verse 35. Slovakia. Verse 36, but when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherds. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Right, the laborers are few, man. You got, it ain't enough brothers in this truth doing this work, and we trying to wake up the Lord's elect. We want the Lord to seal his elect ultimately. It's 144,000 to get out there and teach. And if you trying to, it's an easy thing to put 144 by your name on whatever platform, but you got to actually work to be a part of that number. You see what I'm saying? That's what we working hard for. That's what we working hard for. We're working hard to be a part of that number. We're not working hard to gain a dollar that's about to crash, and then knowing that they finna go forth and push digital currency or whatever the case may be. And ultimately you're gonna be jabbed up in the hand, stabbed up, because you trusted in Egypt. You trusted in the system. What it says, verse 38, pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. And that's what the Lord do. That's what the Lord did. He raised up his holy, that's another precept I got to look for. He raised up his prophets. He raised up his prophets. He raised up the men of the Lord. And now, we out there teaching in truth and sincerity. We out there teaching in truth and sincerity, basically trying to compel the Lord's people to come in, let them know that America about to be destroyed by 200 million thermonuclear missiles, according to the scriptures. That, all these things coming, martial law, you know what I'm saying? The mandated the MARK, the MOTB. You see what I'm saying? All these prophecies finna come. World War III, ultimately America being destroyed, and the prophecies of the men of the Lord being raised up as gods. In America, ultimately, and wherever they were scattered at throughout the four corners of the earth via transatlantic slave trade. All these prophecies are coming. 2nd Esdras 15 is coming. And our people just getting faint-hearted, and you don't see brothers pushing like they was pushing, 2-3 years ago. They're not. The Lord is not in all their thoughts, man. They worried about folly and BS. Ultimately, it's gonna be to their detriment, or they're gonna have to prove that they love the Lord via guillotine or concentration camp, or whatever the case may be. But let's see. Go to the next precept. With the video cut out, I'm gonna do a part 2 because I don't got no service. I had to delete so many pictures and videos just to get 17 minutes in. Let's see, Lord willing, I can get. I'm gonna skim through these precepts as quick as possible. But this is the book of Luke, chapter 19, starting at verse 10. Luke 19, starting at verse 10. Salakia. It's the book of Luke, chapter 19, starting at verse 10. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost, right? The 12 tribes of Israel have been lost sheep. His people have been lost sheep. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. And they that heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was nigh unto Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of Yahweh shall appear immediately appear. Verse 12, he said, therefore a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. And he called his 10 servants, and he delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy until I come. Right, so the Lord said, occupy until you come. You see what I'm saying? So constantly drop these videos, constantly teach, go into the highways and byways and teach. You see what I'm saying? Constantly teach on and off camera, whether you got somebody at your job that you fishing, constantly occupy until you come. It ain't all about what you do on camera, it's about what you do off camera as well. The goal, when I think about it, when a brother come to me, call my phone, ask me a question, I feel like I'm just watering the Lord's plants, making sure that fruit just grow and be, juicy, like juicy fruit. You know what I'm saying? Like a juicy, plump, a fruit that I never seen before. Like that fruit that they was eating on the movie Avatar or something like that. You want the Lord's fruit to be plump and ripe. You got to constantly teach him and water him and plant them. You see what I'm saying? Not that GMO shit that Esau got, these seedless watermelons and stuff being IUIC. There's a lot of seedless fruit over there. But you want to water the Lord's fruit, man. and make sure that you constantly teaching. Occupy till he come. Verse 14. But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And it came to pass that when he returned, having received the kingdom, that he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. So when it comes down to it, so when the Lord, you know, when we go into the chariots or whatever the case may be, we're going to receive our reward. You're going to receive, you know, we got 2/3 of our people going to receive a reward of death, but we're going to receive a reward of life according to, you know, our works and our faith that we did here. But according to those servants that wouldn't, the scriptures say, what it says, bring him hither and slay him before me, those that would not have me reign over them. And that's going to be 2/3 of our people in these heathen, ultimately. You know, the Lord's going to slay them. But the Lord want to see how much money we done flipped this money. Verse 16, then came the first, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. All right. That's just what it is. In the next life, underneath the rulership of Yahushua, King David being king in the kingdom of Israel, we're going to be kings and priests. So the Lord is going to give us dominion and rulership over a certain amount of cities in the kingdom. And that's what we're fighting for. That's why we want these crowns, you know, because we want to help seal the Lord's elect, you know, and we want to make it to the kingdom. And he said, have thou authority over 10 cities, verse 18. And the second came, saying, Lord, thy pound have gained 5 pounds. And he said, likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. So basically, he didn't flip the Lord's money, man. The Lord gave him this truth. The Lord basically ordained him a prophet from the womb, or whatever the case may be, told him what he was going to do, and he was scared, basically. He didn't want to flip the Lord's money, you know, because he didn't want to, he wanted, it was sweet in his mouth like honey, but he couldn't go through the curses, you know, like it says, in his belly it was bitter ultimately. So, you know, he basically didn't flip the Lord's money. He gave him back the same pound, or whatever the case may be. But here, if I have $1 in 2000, I had $1 in 2002, I could have got 4 bags of chips with it. Now you can barely get 1 bag of chips with $1. So ultimately, you losing, man. You didn't flip the Lord's money. What it says, verse 22, and he said unto him, out of thy own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reapeth that I did not sow. Wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required my own with usury? So, man, he didn't want to flip the Lord's money, man. So ultimately, he had to get judged for it, you know. And the Lord took his money and gave it to the next man. I'm going to get that. Verse 24, and he said unto them that stood by, take from him the pound, and give it to him that have 10 pounds. And they said unto him, Lord, he have 10 pounds. For I say unto you, that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that have not, even that he have shall be taken away from him. So, right, man, you want to flip the Lord's money, because ultimately the Lord will take everything for you. Like Apostle Tahar say, you only as good as your last video. You know, it ain't really got much to do with the video as well, because if you ain't doing it behind closed doors, off camera, you know, if you ain't raising up the Lord's fruit, planting and constantly watering the Lord's fruit, then the Lord just gonna take everything from you, and then you're gonna be counted as lukewarm, or counted as a 2/3 Israelite, man. You know, so basically you didn't taught many, and then you yourself gonna be a castaway, basically. Verse 27, but those my enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. And that's just what it is. 2/3 of our people are going to be slayed before the Lord. At the coming of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, you're going to see a so-called black man coming out of a chariot, and he's going to destroy you just like he's destroying these other nations, man. And it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. That's why we get out here and do this work. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately, we don't want the Lord to have to, we don't want to have to die the death of the heathen, man. I'm going to the next precept. Try to skim through this quick. Come on, let's see. Come on, man. The Lord said, bring hither and slay before me, man. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. This way. Let me get that one. Let me get that one first. It's the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 23. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashai, and not unto man, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of his inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So right, we want to be a part of the Lord's inheritance, man. We want to be a part of that first fruit. You see what I'm saying? He said, whatever you do, do it wholeheartedly. You know, don't do it because you're trying to be seen a man. Do it because you love the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashai. Verse 25, but he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he have done, and there is no respect of persons, right? So there ain't no respect of persons, man. You say you love the Lord, or whatever the case may be, whether you be the top, you know, whatever, elder, or, you know, whatever the case may be, whether you be at the bottom of the totem pole, whatever the case may be, you know, top elders, IUIC, Bishop Nate doing the work of the Lord deceitfully, or whatever the case may be. Not teaching the names of the Lord, you know, not teaching the people the true prophecies on what's going to happen. You know, doing the work of the Lord deceitfully, trying not to lose his funding so they can sit in that power seat, basically, you know, have all that money and funding and got the people worshiping him. You see what I'm saying? Still pushing forth Jesus Christos, not teaching the name of the Lord. You being Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Yahweh meaning he is, Bahashem meaning in the name of, Yahweh Shai meaning he who delivers, and in Paleo Hebrew tongue, who the world ignorantly and willingly called Jesus, man. The Lord's name is Yahweh Shai. That's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 17. Verse 16, for though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yeah, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. So right, destruction to me if I don't preach, if I don't get out there and teach. You see what I'm saying? It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. So destruction and woe unto me if I don't preach the gospel, right? Let's see. Woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel, for if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed to me. So right, you want to do this thing willingly. You want to do this thing because you love the Lord Yahweh Shai, because he didn't die for our sins, because he come through for us in every time and place. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 19 verse 22. The Lord always come through for us when we need, or whatever the case may be, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? He always come through for us, so we want to do it willingly because we want to pay the Lord back for our sins against him. You know what I'm saying? You never know what we did in our past life. What it says, but if against my will a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me, what is my reward then? Verily, that when I preach the gospel, I make the gospel of Hamashiach without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel. Did I have that written down? So log you. As a matter of fact, I only had one precept. But come on, man. Ultimately, man, we're going to do the work of the Lord, not deceitfully, but willingly. Not forcefully, but willingly, man, because we know that we ain't trying to be beaten with many strikes. We want our family to be saved. When all hell break loose, we want the Lord to remember us and our works and our faith that we had on him. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we get out there and preach and teach. We don't care about you calling us bum black. You don't care about you saying that we ain't got no jobs or we ain't got no motion or whatever the case may be. Your ass gonna be motion into a fucking concentration camp. That's where you gonna be at. In a goddamn concentration camp with it all in your hand, you know, that's where you gonna be at. You see what I'm saying? You like 2nd Esdras chapter 9. You're gonna be 2nd Esdras chapter 9, man. I'm gonna get it. If I got time. I'm gonna get this I'm gonna get 2nd Esdras chapter 9 first. A few precepts. But yeah, man, that's what's gonna be happening to y'all who basically knew the Lord's. 2nd Esdras chapter 9. 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse 10. For such as in their life have received benefits. You had all the motion, you was getting all the money, you could sell all the drugs, doing all the scamming, you see what I'm saying? Using the truth for maliciousness, selling all the Hebrew apparel, getting money, not teaching the right doctrine, right? For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet my place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. 2/3 of our people are despising the truth. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to be Israelites. They want to be black and African Americans. You see what I'm saying? Bowers and proverbs, made up words, right? The same must know it after death by pain. Your ass gonna be in the concentration camp. You gonna be running, running around, get your ass trafficked by an Edomite somewhere in this basement, getting ready to get ate, or whatever the case may be. You don't know what the Lord gonna do to you. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna be running in the forest. A goddamn bear gonna hop out and eat your ass alive. A lion gonna grab you. A snake gonna bite you. You see what I'm saying? You might be goddamn starving from starving to death. And the Lord command 10,000 ants to eat you. And you know it's crazy. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. But I remember when I was in the world making a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? I said I ain't believe in God. I said I ain't believe in God. Yahweh said okay. It'll be. First had my son. The Lord started plaguing me with finances. Had to pay for so much stuff. I remember I spent my last money trying to get some milk for my son, and the Lord had commanded the ants to eat my son milk. So I'm gonna make my son a bottle. The Lord had commanded the ants to eat all my son milk. You see what I'm saying? Just stuff like, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, man. You're gonna know it after death by pain. You sit right there starving. The Lord got all type of ants and birds and shit. Vultures sitting in the tree waiting on you to die, or they just come in and help you die. But what it says, this verse 12, the same must know after death by pain. And that's just what it is, man. You don't want to have to die that death by pain, man. You know, if I die, Lord willing, it's gonna be with my neck in a guillotine, and the last words that's gonna come out of my mouth gonna be call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. And all these devils gonna know. You see what I'm saying? The same thing that you did in this life, you're gonna pay for it in the next. You know, for basically trying to slay the Lord's servants, man, or come against the Lord's servants, making a man an offender for a word, for basically teaching the right things in truth and sincerity. Get mad at us because you can't call us anti-Semitic. We don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? Nigga don't care about none of that. You can call me whatever you want to call me. At the end of the day, I still said it. You're not a Jew. You ain't gonna never be a Jew. Yeah, it's going into slavery. Amalek, small hatters, calling yourself goddamn Jews, man. You ain't no damn Jew. Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful, man. So open rebuke is better than secret love, man. We get out here, we're going to tell you what it is. We're going to tell you, hey, you going off, you're not doing these videos. You're going to be beaten with many stripes. Ultimately, open rebuke is better than secret love, because if you ain't out here teaching the Lord's word, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that he gave you and ordained you a prophet from the womb, then you really don't need to be living, man, at the end of the day, because you wasting your life. You wasting everything. You see what I'm saying? Me personally, if the Lord take this truth from me, I don't want to live no more, because there ain't nothing for me to live for. You see what I'm saying? I live to teach the Lord's sheep, and I live to preach, and that's what I find joy in doing, man. Watering and planting, doing what the Lord told me to do. I'm grateful when the Lord sent me a chariot, because when I was in the world, I ain't never seen no chariots or nothing like that. So when the Lord sent me a chariot, it's a balance. I'm grateful that he sent it, and I'm happy because he's watching me, and I'm scared also because at the end of the day, he always watching. And his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, man. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. Never stop doing the work of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Call halayim la, Alahayanawa, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Double honor to my elder as well, Harwan bin Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutation to the brothers that's pushing this truth and sincerity into the 1/3 remnant, men, women, and children that believe on the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in sincerity and truth. Shalom. DTA Abba Babal.